It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to another edition of the Rob Carson Show. Stream version of it on the new website, Rob Carson Show at Facebook. The reason why I've done this is because I have another Facebook page that's more private. And this is just a reinvention of it. We're building a brand here. We're doing a couple of different podcasts. One of them is the Rob Carson Show. Hello. The other one is Rob Carson's Table, and that's about cooking. All right, so for those of you who've never tuned in before, you don't know who the hell I am, and most of you don't. I'm a radio host. I'm a video host now, nationally syndicated comedy writer. I've been writing comedy for the biggest names in broadcasting for a number of years. Maybe you've heard of Rush Limbaugh. Started writing for Rush when I was a kid right out of college, just a little kid out of college. And I was 23 years old, and I started writing for this guy. That aside, I waited a long time to get into talk radio because I didn't want to be classified as another Rush Limbaugh wannabe. God bless it. I mean, if you could be, what he is, dear God in heaven. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? But I didn't want to be just seen as another monologue and phone call political hack, because I'm really not a pundit. I don't know. I think I have a well-informed opinion. So that's what we're trying to do here. We'll do a little politics tonight. We're not going to do a total show about politics tonight. We are going to have some fun. We are going to get your comments. If you'd like to comment on the show as it goes, please do. Write in the comment section. I'm going to go right now to Facebook to Rob Carson Show. Here I am. I'm live. Look at me. Look at me in high definition, even though I need to lose about 30 pounds. Hey, I'm going to write me. Here we go. I'm going to write me right now. So write me right now as we are live. Me. If you have questions, you have comments, you want to disagree, you want to agree, whatever, I don't care. Please feel free to do so. All right, let's get started. Trump inauguration's happening. I'm recording this on the 19th. Tomorrow's the 20th. Donald Trump's going to be inaugurated as the president of the United States. Sure, he wasn't my choice. Maybe he's your choice, super duper. I don't care. But he is going to be the president, and there's all sorts of shit going on in Washington, D.C. There's a women's march tomorrow. I've got a friend who's actually going to it. It's an unfocused, generic women's march happening on Saturday, which is nothing more than a pro-abortion march. That's all it is. It's unhinged. It's stupid. It's trying to drag us back into 1909. Women, it is illegal to not pay a woman less, or to pay a woman less than men in the job force. Women vote. Women are equal. Women are 51% of the population. Okay, knock it off. It's not 1909. It's not going to return to 1909 and all this crap. You're not going to have your birth control or your abortion taken away from you. But whatever, they're doing this unfocused. And I've even heard liberal activists say it's unfocused, unhinged, and stupid. Because you're going, it's for women. It's for women. Okay, great. Well, my wife feels like she's equal, and I love her, and I don't want her to stay at home. And this is not Sharia law here, folks. But anyway, they're doing this idiotic march on Saturday. This is pretty funny. How would you feel? How would you feel? This is good. How would you feel if not president-elect, but tomorrow will be the president. How would you feel if the president danced with a transsexual at a ball? Okay? How would you feel about that? Would it be a little weird? Would it be okay? Whatever. Apparently, advisors for Donald Trump are saying that he needs to dance with Caitlyn Jenner. Oh, boy, we live in wow, life has changed, hasn't it? I'm not saying I don't care if he wants to dance with Caitlyn Jenner, whatever. I don't care, whatever. Caitlyn, she's, good-looking 69-year-old transsexual. That said, apparently some Republicans are saying the image of Trump dancing with Caitlyn would send a strong message that he supports gay rights and trans rights. Bruce Jenner's publicist, or Caitlyn, sorry, pushed back a bit, telling Page Six, this is the New York Post, they can't deal in hypotheticals. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't care. Who cares? It says this is not going to freak me out. I don't know. Remember, I saw Caitlyn Jenner, that first appearance on Vanity Fair. I felt really, really dirty. I was like, wow, okay, this is weird. But you know what? I don't know. Maybe sure. I don't know. It's going to make some people mad. It's going to make some people happy. Are we ready for the president dancing with a transsexual? Bizarre facts you didn't know about the presidential inaugurations. John F. Kennedy's 61 inauguration, his podium caught fire. I don't know if you knew that. During Cardinal Cushing's invocation speech, the cardinal was spared from the flames and the fire was extinguished without injury. However, the incident did not go unnoticed. Kennedy laughed at the occasion and the ceremony carried on without further issues. I didn't know that because I wasn't alive. George Washington gave the shortest inauguration speech, 135 words. Washington is remembered for ad-libbing his oath of office by adding, are you ready for this? So help me God. That was George Washington. William Henry Harrison holds the record for the longest speech. He did 100 minutes, 8,495 words. He spoke in the middle of a D.C. snowstorm, which makes him an even bigger douche. 100 minutes in the middle of a snowstorm. And he died several weeks later of pneumonia. Abraham Lincoln's election came with great controversy. On the very first day as president in 1861, police were called to shut down his inauguration after noise complaints. Was the White House part of an HOA then? Is that maybe that was it? I don't know. Barack Obama's 2009 inauguration drew 1.8 million people, or 1.8. What you don't remember is that John Roberts flubbed the oath. Do you remember that? I kind of remember that. Obama had to retake the oath inside the White House the following day to make it official. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Let's see some other things about the inauguration. We're going to get to some major things that I think are not only interesting about it, but also a little controversial about it. A fourth grade teacher. The decision not to show Donald Trump's inauguration speech to his students prompted strong reactions inside the school and outside the school. Williamstown Community Schools posted an email sent Monday to parents by Brett Matire, teacher, who said basically, Matire explained that the president-elect's comments during the election about women, minorities, and disabled were characterized as inflammatory and derogatory. And so basically said, I'm concerned about my students and your children being exposed to the language and behavior that is not in concert with the most conservative social and family values. Sure it is, dude. Right, whatever. I've decided not to show the inauguration of Donald Trump this Friday, but we will not view Mr. Trump's inauguration speech. So they will show the inauguration, but not the speech. All right? This is a historical thing, and whether you like it or not, it's the inauguration, right? I wasn't a fan of Barack Obama, wasn't a fan in 2008, wasn't a fan in 2012, but he's the president. He's the president-elect, and this is a big deal. It's a historical thing, and I think you're denying kids in fourth grade the opportunity to have something they will remember the rest of their lives, whether they agree or disagree. Whether they agree or disagree, and they don't have any true political thoughts when they're in fourth grade. I remember when I was in fourth grade, Ronald Reagan was running as a candidate for president, not as a candidate, but in the primaries. And there were a bunch of kids, Ronald Reagan. It ended up not being Ronald Reagan, right? But I remember it. I don't think we watched the inauguration speech, but I think it's important. If something this big, you're getting the leader of the free world. Is it too much to ask to maybe let your kids, without judgment, watch history. Watch history. I don't know. I think it's kind of important. Got a lot of audio we're going to get to. And again, if you want to go to Rob Carson Show, we are live right now. Love to know your thoughts about the broadcast, your thoughts about the inauguration, and whatnot. Here's something kind of interesting. Tucker Carlson took over for Megyn Kelly. You think Megyn Kelly is undefeatable. She was offered, I think, $100 million for a multi-year contract from Fox. She turned it down. She's going to NBC. Fox News has received even higher ratings with Tucker Carlson tonight, maybe because he has better hair. His show moved to 7 o'clock Eastern time, and it's seen an increase of 10% in total viewership. All right. 12% increase in 25 to 54-year-olds. An average of 576,000 viewers a night for Carlson. That's pretty big. That's pretty big stuff. His show has received 21% more total viewers and a whopping 52% in 25, 54-year-olds. All right. Carlson had been the co-host of the weekend edition of Fox and Friends since 2012. And anyway, things have worked very well. Fox News has made a lot of money on having conservative hosts, yes, but also hot babes. Let's be honest. Andrea Tantaros, I love her. Ungodly hot. Megyn Kelly, very intelligent woman. Ungodly hot. I got tired of Megyn Kelly after a while. She doesn't seem genuine to me. Maybe that's me. I like Brett Baer's show. I think he's kind of middle of the road. He covers both sides of the political equation, and so I like that. Tucker Carlson, I like him because he is, I guess you could say, a little bit more combative. I don't necessarily like combative, but if you're going to be a douche on television, you should be called out. All right? Another person I really love on Fox, even though she over speaks, is Jeanine Pirro. I think she's ungodly hot, very smart, but she kind of over talks a little bit, gets a little preachy. Tucker Carlson had an interesting cat on the show. I guess it was on the 18th. Alex Mohadjir wrote a piece in the Sunday Huffington Post talking about how Donald Trump's not legitimate, all right? He cited two different federal lawsuits, both filed earlier this month, and effectively called on federal judges to invalidate the results of the election and order that a new nationwide presidential bid be held. Now, he quoted in this piece, a piece on the Executive Intelligence Review that claims Trump was recruited to run for president by the former Soviet Union years ago. The EIR, Executive Intelligence Review, is a publication run by Lyndon LaRouche. She was a psycho. Perennial presidential candidate, psycho. Has about the credibility of Alex Jones to some degree. Anyway, Tucker Carlson had this guy on to talk about why Donald Trump is not the president, and it got pretty spicy. Here's the first part of it.
6 million Americans voted for Hillary Clinton. She won the popular vote by 3 million votes or so, about 2.1%. And there are legitimate questions as to the way that Donald Trump won the election, particularly with regard to the Russian interventionism, and then, of course, FBI Director James Comey's letter to Congress the week before the election that was meant to bring about questions as to criminal wrongdoing by the Democratic nominee a week before the election, which we have evidence that shows that it had an impact on the outcome of the election, that late-breaking voters decided en masse, late-deciding voters, rather, decided that they were going to vote for Donald Trump in a way that skewed the election for him.
Okay, so I'm getting a little feedback here. Let me go ahead and try and figure this out, because it doesn't sound very good. Anyway, this guy is saying that Donald Trump is not legitimate for a variety of reasons. All right, let me see if I can go ahead and figure this out again here on the audio that I am broadcasting. Hold on one second here. We've got some viewers that are liking it right now. Thank you very much for checking out the podcast. Let's go on to and I may need to eventually play audio from my other computer. This is another piece from the interview with this gentleman, Alex Mohajer, with Tucker Carlson last night, talking a little bit more about Lyndon LaRouche. The interview.
So you put up as your evidence a piece of propaganda from the Lyndon LaRouche newsletter, okay? Why didn't you just go with like a Scientology pamphlet or Heaven's Gate or something? I mean, do you really think that's a legitimate news source?
Tucker Carlson, you were the editor-in-chief of the Daily Caller, which for a decade, called into question Barack Obama's legitimacy as a president based on his race and other racially motivated.
That's a load of crap. Okay, this is one of the things that a lot of people do to discredit organizations, media outlets, and whatnot is to cry racism with no evidence whatsoever. The Daily Caller was a very nice website. I still follow it every day. I follow HuffPo. I follow all of these places. I don't immediately assume that they're racist like this fool does.
I mean, I'm not
are you an illegitimate journalist because you? Are you an illegitimate journalist because your very own website ran some pretty racist, terrible junk, and that didn't stop you, did it?
Name one, tough guy.
Well, let's go and look at. Go Google it. There's a lot.
So you put up as your evidence a piece of propaganda.
Somebody's going to say that it was racist. All right, somebody eventually is going to say it's racist. This is a meme that's out there. It's meant to discredit organizations. Breitbart went through it with Steve Bannon this year. Breitbart is not a racist website. I wouldn't use it if I thought it were. All right? It's a load of crap. Here's a little more as he doubles down on the racism charge against the Daily Caller and Donald Trump not being legitimate.
I'm tempted to end this right now because you're saying, well, Lyndon LaRouche is a legitimate news source, but I just want to keep going. So I want to have a couple questions. So you're saying
that's not what I'm saying. Let me just say something, Tucker.
Oh, actually, you are saying that, I think.
I don't say that you are a crappy journalist because of the Daily Caller. I am saying that there is a piece that suggests something. I'm not going to. I am not speaking to the publication.
Alex,
he's talking about Lyndon LaRouche. He's a lunatic.
Come into it,
and the Daily Caller, and the Daily Caller is a very racist, offensive, right-wing publication.
Okay, there you go. Again, you call things racist, you call things whatever, and you try to end the discussion when you are losing it. Here is the wrap-up with Tucker Carlson and this guy.
Let me just ask you, if I could, for a second, a philosophical question, which is this. You say that we need to remove Donald Trump from the presidency for the sake of democracy. So you had over 60 million people vote for him. And you're saying
that's not what I said.
One judge or a panel of judges removing him would be more democratic than the election result. It seems like the opposite of democracy to me.
If it is found that there was wrongdoing, such as collusion with the Russian government to hack our elections, or with the FBI director to purposefully release a letter that he knew was bogus.
So you think there was collusion between Trump and the FBI director?
We'll see. The Department of Justice is investigating this.
The Department of Justice is now throw something out there with no.
Here we go. It's getting hot.
Evidence is distressing, and shame on the Huffington Post.
No, you know what is distressing? You know what's distressing is that people, it's that people on the name of partisanship won't listen to each other's arguments. It's that you're calling me a crackpot.
This guy's being partisan, but he's saying that Tucker Carlson is being partisan for discussing the actual partisanship of this guy's article.
Instead of listen. No, the difference is
I was trying to listen, and you're alleging things that you can't know.
Okay, I've had enough. I can't take any more of this. All right, coming up, I've got some stuff that is non-political that I think you're going to enjoy. Parents are using hypnosis instead of ADHD meds. All right, we're going to get into that. 10 signs that you're intelligent. All right, if you think you're smart, we all think we're smarter than we really are, I think. We're going to get into that very shortly. Again, your comments are welcome here on the Facebook page. I'd love to know what you think, and we'll get to all that in just a couple of minutes. The Trump team, I guess, is preparing for some major cuts as far as government spending is concerned. This has many people troubled, don't get me wrong, I understand. But at the same time, have you had to cut your budget in the last few years? Have you had to decrease your spending? The only place that spending is not really decreased, as far as places that you are, you can relate to, is government. Government always continues to go up. Government always continues to increase. It just does. That's the way it is. Government expands. You and I, we are not able to live in that state of largesse. A couple of years ago, I was out of work, and I lost my way of living, and it was incredibly, incredibly difficult. I had to cut my budget by 90%. Government never has to do that. Government never has to do that. Now, here's what they're considering cutting. Departments of Commerce and Energy, see major reductions in funding. Departments of Transportation, the DOT, Justice, and State would see significant cuts. And there's got to be fat, guys. There's got to be fat there somewhere. Also, Corporation for Public Broadcasting would be privatized. It's about time. Corporation for Public Broadcasting, they run ads, guys. They do. They may not be 30-second spots, although on PBS lately, it's 30-second spots minimum. It should be privatized because there are a billion places to get that material, that programming, and Ernie and Bert are a multi-billion-dollar industry. They don't need PBS anymore. National endowments for the arts and National Endowment for Humanities would be eliminated entirely. There's a lot of bull crap going on in the endowment for the arts. A lot of crap. Piss Christ, that used to be what it was all about. Well, at least some of it. So they're looking to reduce federal spending by $10.5 trillion over 10 years. I like it. Here. Bravo. Love it. It's about time that the government started living on less. That's just the way it is. It's about time the government started living on less. You and I have had to live on less for a very long time, and it's not fun. But the government, no matter what we go through, the government never has to cut. They never have to cut. Let's move on to a couple of other things. A couple more political things. Democrat protesters. Apparently, there are a bunch of Democrat protesters who are planning on sitting out the inauguration. I think it's troubling just because this is part of history, and it's the first time. And hi, Michael DeHaan. How are you? You know what? I heard today that Rick Perry said he regretted wanting to cut off the Energy Department. I don't think the Energy Department should be cut off, and I don't think the the National Endowment of the Arts should be cut off. But there are major government institutions, whether it could be the CIA, could be the FBI, could be they're fat. All right, these government agencies are fat, and they live on to a standard that most of us don't understand. Michael, I'm so glad you're watching. Thank you so much. They have never had to cut. They have enormous budgets that they have to spend by the end of the year, and then they get an automatic increase regardless of their performance. That includes the VA. That includes the EPA. So these organizations have never had to suffer like you and I have. There has to be a more efficient way to run these agencies, okay? And if they're not performing well, they need to pare them down. Okay. Anyway, Newt Gingrich talked about the 65-plus Democrats who are going to be sitting out the inauguration. And I'm bothered by this, guys, just because this has not been done since 1864. And before that, there were Democrats who sat out in 1860. These were gigantic election years in the history of the country, and Donald Trump is not Jefferson Davis. So I have a real problem with it. Here is Newt Gingrich's thoughts on that.
The inauguration is not about Republicans. It's not about Donald Trump. The inauguration is about America. Why would you abandon America? If you're a member of Congress, if you work that hard to get to be part of the system.
Yeah, but Newt, they're trying to score political points.
Yeah, but all they're doing is making themselves look small and silly.
I just think it's kind of irresponsible that you would repeat the inauguration speech of 1860 and 1864, which were boycotted by Southern Democrats, by the way, because they were the party of slavery. And I think it's kind of shameful, to be quite honest. I think it's unsavory, and I think it's kind of shameful, to be quite honest. Okay, let's move on to some other stuff other than politics. Okay, let's do this just as a palate cleanser. Signs that you're intelligent. This, according to a report in the UK Daily Mail. So, if you think you're smart, maybe I'm going to prove to you right now that you're really, really smart. Okay, so the signs that you are really, 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 really smart. The signs that you are intelligent. You ready? Number 10. You are an older sibling. Okay? You are an older sibling. That's one of the ways. I'm the oldest of 3. The other siblings are older, but they weren't in the house when So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm the older sibling who's really smart. Brett, hi, how are you? Brett said Brett says you said it. They're very fat and their pockets get bigger each year. Boom. 100%. Michael, I love you. God, I miss you so much. Thanks for chiming in tonight. You're an older sibling. You might be smarter. I don't know what the reason is for that. You are a cat person. Oh, shut up. Cat people. No credibility. You're modest. Again, no credibility. You worry. All right, whatever. You didn't have sex in your teenage years. Oh, me. I'm a genius. I'm a freaking genius. You stay up late. You're funny. I'll let you decide that. You swear a lot. Ding, 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 ding. I'm super smart. You are messy. Ding, 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 ding. I'm super smart. And number 1 is you are left-handed. Whatever. My wife is ambidextrous. She goes both ways. She can throw a baseball with this hand or this hand. I know it's kind of hot, right? It's kind of hot. This is funny. This is a story. Oh, my Lord in heaven. Fashion Institute of Technology student has been accused by her aunt of swiping $1 million Kandinsky painting from her dead grandma's Manhattan apartment and she hung it on her dorm room wall. I had an Iron Maiden poster. Ingrid Wright said in the court filing that she believes her niece, Mackenzie Wright, stashed the work titled The Black Line by Russian abstract artist Vasily Kandinsky in her dorm room. She says basically it's a real possibility that she squirreled away the Kandinsky in her dorm room. The painting belonged to the estate of Faith Dorian Wright, an art collector who died September 18th, 2016. The aunt is the executor of the estate and says that obviously this shouldn't be in a dorm room. A dorm room. It's the big thing in dorm rooms now. Man, if I would have had IKEA when I was in college, holy hell. My dorm room was crap. I had a prison bed. I had a mini fridge. I didn't even have a microwave. I didn't have a television. I had a boombox. I know. I'm old. Whatever the hell. So you're having trouble with your kids? You having trouble with ADHD and whatnot? Apparently, some parents are using hypnosis. Hypnosis. They're calling it hypno-parenting. This is a story out of New York about hypnotizing your kids for better behavior.
Your eyes begin to get very tired.
10-year-old Eric Ferrer Alfaro is about to be hypnotized.
And close your eyes when
God, if I could do this for housework. Holy hell.
you're ready.
He has ADHD. His mother doesn't want to medicate him, and nothing else has worked.
Now, see, I like that. Because our kids are over-medicated in the country. So if self-hypnosis does it, why the hell not, right?
We've tried just meditation, relaxation, things like that.
She says he has trouble focusing at school, and she's optimistic this will help.
I'm hoping for the teacher to not call me anymore. Everybody calls me Hypno Mom.
Hypnotherapist
Hypno
Lisa
Mom.
Mackenberg says she's hypnotized close to 1,000 children, including her own.
I started hypnotizing the children at 7.
Hypnotizing your own children. I don't know. I guess if you're a hypnotherapist, sure. But if I was a chiropractor, I'm not sure I'd practice on the kids.
Months to sleep quickly, calmly, soundly, and deeply all through the night.
She later hypnotized them to do better at sports and in school.
Keep your eyes closed and try to see my
Oh,
face.
Wait. You're going to hypnotize your kids to do better in sports. Okay. All right. That might be a new twist on those obsessive dads who want to live vicariously through their sons.
Here with your eyes closed. Good. Going even deeper.
She says she is essentially teaching Eric to hypnotize himself to help him when facing a challenging task.
Breathe in the word focus.
Breathe it in.
Exhale on the word powerful. When he wants to sit and do his homework, when he needs to listen to the teacher, when he needs to curb his impulses. All he
curb your impulses. Yeah.
Needs to do is breathe in that power word, and it resets the neurons.
Afterward, a short homework session.
That's hooey, by the way.
Went well, and Eric hopes that continues.
I hope it'll help me because tomorrow I'll have a lot of division and a lot of tests on math.
You got to hypnotize your kids before test day. Wow.
Says parents already control their children, a power to be harnessed.
Let's learn how to use hypnoparenting to consciously influence our children to be more peaceful in the house, to have focused concentration.
It's a very risky thing to do. But psychologist Dr. Sanam Hafiz says putting kids in a trance is going too far and shouldn't take the place of good parenting skills.
The idea is not to gain control of your child's mind, but it's to teach them what's right, what's appropriate, what's desirable, so they can then have control over their own mind.
Mental health experts say hypnosis is more appropriate to treat conditions such as extreme pain or bedwetting or serious trauma such as the loss of a parent.
Okay, there you go. So the whole hypnotherapy thing, I don't know. For me, the jury is out. I had a friend who was hypnotized during my morning radio program. And I swear to God, it was so real. This woman is not a good actor. She was told by the hypnotherapist that when you open your mouth, you'll speak a foreign language that nobody else understands. And it was the funniest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. It was the funniest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. And there's no way that she could have acted that. It was too bizarre. It was just too bizarre. Brett Perry, hypnotize yourself. Come on. Now, let me tell you this, Brett. I will tell you that there is a thing called self-hypnosis, which really is nothing more than a glorified word for meditation. You can do some amazing things meditating. You can slow your heart rate. You can overcome a lot of things through meditation, not medication. So I'm willing to say that self-hypnosis to some degree is not real. It doesn't put you in a trance. It doesn't make you dance like a monkey. It doesn't do all that stuff. But I do believe you can bring yourself down. Meditation and prayer. That's really kind of self-hypnosis when you think about it. Oh, did you hear this? Oh, my God, this movie. There's a new emoji movie coming out. An emoji movie. Yeah, I know. One of the big emojis now is the poop emoji. It's a little turd with a smiling face on it. You want to know who's going to be playing the turd emoji in the emoji movie? Would you believe Sir Patrick Stewart? Remember he was on Star Trek? He'd go, number one. Now he's going to have to say, number two. I don't know. So he's going to be, oh, God. The company said, Sony Animation said that so excited to announce the distinguished Sir Pat Stew as poop in the emoji movie. Well, I don't know how distinguished he's going to be now. That's the deal. Oh, God. How often do you post social media about your dog? I don't do the dogs as much because the dogs irritate me a lot of the times. But a lot of people post social media, Facebook and Twitter about their pets. Here are some interesting things from Yahoo Finance regarding that. 42% have their dog as a photo on their phone home screen or computer desktop. Jeez. 11% have created a social media account for the dog. Okay, you're just sick. There's something wrong with your little mind if you do that. 32% have a security camera at home they use to check their dog. I don't have that, but I have a doorbell that has a camera on it. I can see what's going on in front of my house. Brett says Picard. Yes, Captain Picard. 2%, 14% have Skyped or FaceTimed with their dog while they were away. I talked to my mother today. She insisted on talking to the dog that I adopted from her. And I talk on the phone with my dog. Yes, we do. When you're away from the dog, hey, hold the phone out. Put me on speaker. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I do it. I also have stupid songs for my dogs, and I have stupid sayings for my dogs, and I'm a geek, okay? I'm a geek. Even though I have real children, they don't like to be called nicknames after a while, and so you move on to the dogs. Number one. 1 out of every 5 pictures dog owners take includes their dog. Okay. It happens. Speaking of animals, law enforcement and veterinary officials are planning on an outreach campaign to educate veterinarians about the new frontier in the opioid epidemic. 48,000 people a year OD on opioids or die from opioid pain meds abuse. It's sickening. It's ridiculous. People so desperate for drugs, they take the medication prescribed to their dogs and their pets. The misuse of pet meds has serious safety implications for people and animals, according to Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan in a letter that we printed in the Massachusetts Veterinary Medical Association newsletter. Educating people about the signs of drug misuse, available treatment resources, and how to properly store and dispose of all medications is a crucial part of helping to stem the tide of overdoses and death. This is pretty real, right? Isn't the whole date rape drug, Rohypnol, isn't that a cat tranquilizer or something like that? That's where that came from. And now people are going, if I can't get a prescription for pain meds for me, I'll get it for my dog and I'll take the dog's meds. I don't know, man. And then you can't prove the dog's in pain, whatever. In a letter, this Marion Ryan, the attorney, said she had only recently learned of the issue when she met a pet owner who said she couldn't understand why her pet was in pain despite being prescribed medication. Then the woman realized that a family member had been taking the animal's pills. So I do that for heartworm. Just because I don't want to get it. Probably a good idea. Just, I don't know of any humans that get heartworm, but sure. And then occasionally in the spring, I do the flea drops right back here. Just do the flea drops right in the back. Greg is watching. Hello, Greg. How are you, my friend? Thank you for liking. I appreciate it. I want to make this much bigger so I can make a living, support my family and whatnot. Well, I'm going to do one more story. I think it'll be one more story. This is a story in radio, in broadcasting, you have to be careful about what you say because you could get fired for a variety of ways. This is a story about an Australian Open commentator who's been accused of racism after comparing Venus Williams to a gorilla. All right. Doug Adler is an ESPN commentator. And it was a second-round match at the first slam of the year in Melbourne against Stephanie Vogel. 59-year-old professional player was describing the pressure the pressure Williams was putting on the second serve of her Swiss opponents. Now, I got a piece of this, and I don't know if it's racism. I just think it's a very poor choice of things to say. I don't think this man is really a rampant, rabid racist. He's been doing this. He's 59 years old. He's a former player, and he used this expression. That said, like I said, I don't believe what he said was racist, but a lot of people are just going bat guano crazy about it. Here is the call with regard to Venus Williams.
She misses a first serve, and Venus is all over her. And you'll see Venus move in and put the gorilla effect on.
Could the gorilla effect on her? First of all, I've never heard the expression before. The gorilla effect, I'm assuming, is to charge, to go after someone, whatever. I don't know if I believe that this is true racism. It was just a boneheaded slip, and then somebody immediately pounced on it because, of whatever racial stereotypes that have existed in the past. So I wouldn't go so far as to say this man is a racist. A lot of the times people are hypersensitive and they go crazy and they destroy people's lives. They destroy broadcasters' lives, even though it wasn't meant as an offense. It wasn't meant to be racist. It's just that some people construed it as racist, and, that's basically it. All right? We'll see. Who knows? Now, today is the 19th of January. Tomorrow is the 20th of January. Tomorrow is the inauguration of Donald Trump. And I know, and even today, I was watching TV and I saw Donald Trump at the memorial of the forgotten. I'm drawing a blank. The soldier in Arlington. Anyway, to see Donald Trump on the tour, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Jeez Louise, Rob, brain fart. It's still, when I see President Trump on the screen, it's like, this is unreal. This is like landing on Mars. Donald Trump was not my first choice. I voted for him because I said I was going to vote for the nominee of the Republican Party. I'm disappointed that so many would be sitting out this election or inauguration. I think it's very troubling because it hasn't happened since 1864, and it's not 1864 all over again. Some people are trying to drag us back into 1864. It's not that way. It's also not 1968, and it's not 1909. The United States of America has always been trying to be a more perfect union. It's bull crap. It's bull crap. It is obstructionist, it is embarrassing, and it is dangerous to drag us back to race relations in 1968, to drag us back to relations between men and women in 1909, and to drag us back to 1864 with regard to the inauguration of Donald Trump. So I say, those 65 or 69 Democrats who are going to sit out the inauguration tomorrow, you are irrelevant tomorrow, and you will be irrelevant for the next 4 years. If you don't think you matter tomorrow, you shouldn't matter for the next 4 years. That's all I got to say about it. Do I necessarily relish the idea of a Trump presidency? No. But by God, we are Americans, and he was elected legally. Okay. Let me just step off my soapbox real quick here. If you get a chance to, and by the way, Sam, thanks for spreading the word on the show. I do greatly appreciate it. Greg, thank you for tuning in this evening. The audience is small now. I'm hoping it's going to grow dramatically. If you would please share on social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, or wherever. I want to say hi to my buddy Rusty, who is also a viewer and a good friend. Rusty Humphreys, nationally syndicated radio program host, and a genius. Make sure to check out and make this Facebook page a favorite. It's Rob Carson Show. I have another food podcast, which is called Rob Carson's Table. And I recorded a nice episode of that today that I think you'll enjoy. You can also see me on Twitter at Rob Carson. I know it's a lot to remember. Maybe I'm not that memorable, but I do greatly appreciate this. In the meantime, have a glorious and blessed day. God bless you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again later on.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.